let's take a look at the application of diminished harmony to the song You Are God Alone. It's in the key of B flat. So the scale for B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, and back to B flat. And we know there's a scale of chords that goes with each one of these scales. So for B flat major, B flat is a major chord, C is minor, D minor, E flat major, F major, G minor, A diminished, and then B. Now if we look at the B diminished, I presented in the previous video that there's a half step, whole step scale, and there's a whole step, half step scale. So if we take B diminished, B flat diminished, and we move the half step, then we're going to have B diminished, B flat diminished to B diminished. Then we go D flat diminished to D diminished. Then E diminished, F diminished, G diminished, and then A flat diminished, and then back to B diminished. And that would be true for the whole step one, where you would, instead of going from B flat diminished to B diminished, you start with C, and then you would alternate between B flat diminished and different inversions of C diminished and different inversions of B flat diminished. The last one that is different than these other two is the diminished scale, six-diminished scale, as it is called and taught by Barry Harris, who recently passed. But there's a lot of teaching regarding this concept on the internet. So if you just did a search on Barry Harris diminished scale, six-diminished scale, you'll find a lot of information. But as I'm going to apply it here, it's how it was. You can borrow from these four scales to create different kinds of harmony for this particular song, You Are God Alone. So the six-diminished scale, in this case, you would start with B flat 6, and you would go C diminished. So you can see you're going from B following the major scale until you get to the added note, which is the flatted 6. So we start with B6, B flat 6, C diminished, B flat 6 inverted, E flat diminished, B flat 6 inverted, G flat diminished. This is also B flat 6 inverted. If you look at, this is B flat 6 with just the G on the bottom. So it's the same chord. And then A diminished. And then we're back to B flat 6. Now, when you look at the chord progression in You Are God Alone in the B flat scale, it starts with, it uses the D flat or C sharp diminished, and then it goes does an inversion, then C diminished inversion, and then goes to a G minor 7. Now think about the scale. Let's go back to the major scale for just a second here. If you look at this major scale, you have a 2, which is C minor, but we're not using that 2-5-1. We're going to look at this in terms of a 2-5-1 going to this G minor, where the drop 2 form of this is okay. You saw that, right? So I did it slow so you can follow. It's still this diminished chord and this diminished chord. It's just done in drop 2. Now think for a minute. If I'm going to G. In previous discussions about chord movement on the circle, I've talked about how you can make G your target, and you can do different methods to get there. You can do the 5 of G, you can do a 2-5 of G, you can do 7-3-6-2-5 and have G be the target. In this case, though, we're going to look at it as a 2-5, 5 of G minor. Okay? Now let your ear hear this. So instead of using A to D to G, let's use this. So now you can see that that's just a different version of a 2-5-1 using dominant chords to go to the G minor 7. So you could play it or you can play Now, you have heard this sound before in old school gospel. It's just that this is a creative use of it in the song "You Are God Alone." And let me demonstrate that for you. We're going to be in the key of E flat. Often used key for gospel worship, old school. So we're going to take very simple, ain't no harm done, calling on Jesus. Here we go. So it's name of the Lord. So this diminished chord and this diminished chord leads you to an E flat. But if you use it the way it was used in You're God Alone, it'll lead you to an E flat minor instead of E flat major. So you could take it here in the simplest form, and instead of it being a, let me see, yes. No, it's this one. So remember we talked about it being a 2, 5, and a 1? Okay, so 2 is F, B flat is 5, and back to E. So it's G diminished, A flat diminished to 1. And if we use it the way it was used in You Are God Alone, it would sound like this. You would do the drop 2. So instead of, and you do your inversions. And you go to your E minor. But of course you would do the drop 2. I didn't do the drop 2 just then because I'm trying to think of it in the key of E flat. And I don't play it often enough to have it locked down, but I understand it. So let's try that again. So instead of going 2, 5, 1, we're doing the same progression as the way it was creatively used in You're God Alone. So we go again, doing the inversions. Thank you for watching my tutorials. Simple chords are the building blocks for making advanced chords. And I hope you find that these tutorials are helpful to you on your musical journey. Please like, subscribe, and share these tutorials with others who have a desire to learn how to play music of the piano. I look forward to sharing other tutorials with you in future videos.